What kind of say? Welcome to the Quik Breakdowns, the show where we break down and review Africa's latest songs, EPs, and albums. What's good? What's happening? Today we're breaking down Jah Prayzah's new album, Chiremerera. If you're not familiar with who Jah Prayzah is a Zimbabwean artist. More than an artist, he is a legend. He's an Afro jazz, Afro beat, Afro-centric traditional artist. He kind of like gets into a lot of bags, And he recently dropped 2 albums. The first one was Chiremerera, and the following day he dropped Maita Baba. But today we're starting off with Chiremerera, which is a traditionally inclined record that he intentionally made it traditional because he has like a fan base of 2 people. Some people love his Afro pop records, some people love his traditional records, so he was like, to cater for both fan bases, I'm going to release 2 different albums. And I listened to the Chiremerera one first, now listening to the Maita Baba one. Chiremerera is a Chinyakare traditional album through and through. The sense of the whole project and the whole record, you can get it from the title track Chiremerera. And Jah Prayzah's exploration into local sounds and utilization of local sounds and local instruments is heard throughout the whole project. He utilizes traditional instruments like the mbira, like the hosho, the ngoma throughout the whole album. And he really does an amazing job of making this album not similar, because the most notorious thing about local Zimbabwean sounds, they tend to be the same. They tend to sound like the same thing on the same song. Like, you cannot truly distinguish the difference between a lot of Mbiradze Narira records. But Jah Prayzah did an amazing thing by adding a bit of flesh in terms of subject matter, in terms of lyrics to most of these sounds, and creating an album that actually has coherence, that actually has a bit of subject going for it. The local sounds that I heard from this album are really like Chiremerera, GT, a bit of Afro jazz, and he kind of like takes that and makes it his own feel, and makes it in his own way, tries to modernize the whole thing, and it makes listening to traditional music palatable for generation that did not grow up listening to traditional music. For me, the most amazing thing about this album is subject matter, because he just talks about Ubuntu, just humanity, just being human, just existing in Africa and being African, and just being a Zimbabwean through and through. Yes, this album was done in vernacular, that's Shona, and he talks about just the life of living in Zimbabwe. On song like Chiremerera, he talks about making money in a very traditional sense, because when we were back then, people used to Chiremerera to hunt, and then he was like Chiremerera, because kuita mari kuvima in a traditional sense, and he could just make that sound cool. He made it sound cool. He made being Shona cool in a sense on this album, and I really commend what he did with this project. The fact that there is only one feature and he carries the whole album that has a very notoriously similar sound, that he really managed to not make similar, and he has one feature, and it's not feature heavy, he's not relying on anyone, it's him just being in his bag. Shout out to the one feature, of course, Felinandi, which is a very suitable feature because she's another artist who does traditionally inclined music, and their marriage on Sarungano was amazing. Some of the best songs from this album are Chiremerera for me, Wangokarara, and Hasha. Hasha is very low-key. It actually inclines to one of my favorite songs of all time, Chiremerera, and Hasha kind of like has that vibe as well. And yeah, man, I feel like Jah Prayzah did an amazing thing with this album. Do I feel like it's his best album yet? No, not really, because I feel like Jah Prayzah really does have something amazing in him. He still has his My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy in him. I feel like Hokoyo is still underrated as an album. But yeah, man, this one is not. Do I feel like it's his best project? I don't know. Combining the two, it might be his best work in terms of his discography yet. But Chiremerera, it's an 8 out of 10 for me. But it's not really his best project. But still an amazing project. Still up there. Still top 3, 4, 5. But yeah, thank you so much for giving this review a listen. Subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, watch other reviews I've done before if you're interested in this series. This series is for the real ones. I create this one for the real ones, for the few who are really interested in listening to album reviews. So yeah, check it out. I'm still thinking if you have to put it on Spotify, but for now we're on YouTube. The channel is growing. Just subscribe and join the gang. Thank you so much for watching. 263 Post, we out.